Hey guys, per YouTube comment, I tried out manual focus and it just really didn't work out, as you'll see soon. I'm going to go back to autofocus even though this camera is not the best for it. I opened up the shutter quite a bit. I think I'm at f13 right now. It's much better than, f4. Until I get a new video camera, dedicated video camera, I'm going to stick to autofocus because I much prefer the cleaner image. I was really not happy with the way the Sundara video turned out as far as picture quality, but yeah, moving forward, autofocus from here on out until I get a new camera. Alright, enjoy the review. Bye. Hey there, friend, and welcome aboard! Stu Black here, HomeStudioBasics.com, and before we get into the HIFIMAN Sundara review, grab a snack, sit back and relax because you've come to the right place. So, as I was perusing my local audio advice for the millionth time, I bet you they're getting real sick of me. I came across this bad boy, and it was love at first sight. These babies look so appetizing, so delicious, that I almost feel like I'm becoming like Zeos, Z Reviews, in that when a headphone starts to look edible, you know you have a problem. And I mean, look at this thing. I mean, it looks like a hamburger. A big, wet, juicy, flavorful hamburger with bacon, blue cheese, mushrooms, and whatever else you like. Look at it. I mean, it even squeezes together like a hamburger. But we're not going to eat it because that would hurt my teeth. I just had a root canal. Anyway, so first we'll talk about specifications. This is an open back, planar magnetic, circumaural headphone with a frequency response of 6 Hz to 75,000 Hz. It's got an impedance of 37 ohm and a sensitivity of
way too low.
Just kidding, 94 decibels. First we'll talk about build quality. Whew. HIFIMAN really stepped it up with these because the build quality is much improved over the 400i and the 400S. It's got spring steel, anodized aluminum, and it's a bit of a matte, a cross between a matte and a gloss finish, but overall, #1 for build. These babies are extremely durable. They're not too heavy, not too light, and they feel much more sturdy than both the 400i and S, although out of the three, the 400S is definitely the cheapest feeling, followed by the 400i, and then this one. The pads are the same. They have a velour coating encased in a synthetic leather, but the cups do not rotate inwards or outwards anymore, but they still rotate up and down, which is cool. The headband on this area is different. It's a lot more compact, sleek, economical, without being cheap. These feel way better than both of its predecessors. The headband is now circular, whereas before it was kind of like a deformed ostrich or something, like it went out like that and then in. This part is also switched up a bit. It feels much more solid and it's bigger. The other one was made of plastic, I think, and it only held the HIFIMAN logo right there, and it was really a bear to adjust. But these babies, it just feels more solid all around. The headband, it feels like the same material, but it might be upgraded. Almost feels like a suede right there. The grills are a little bit different. The diameter of the squares is much bigger. Both have the 2.5 millimeter jacks on each ear cup, and they're labeled right R&L. So overall, build quality A+. Breath of fresh air, really. These guys are just, like I said, they're edible. Edible arrangements, dude. So how about comfort? It may just be my imagination, but I actually feel like the comfort on these is better than the 400i and S, even though by and large they're roughly the same in the grand scheme of things as far as comfort is concerned. The pads still have a tendency to flatten out, but that's kind of true for all headphone padding. But I didn't have to adjust these, not even once. With the 400i, I kind of made slight adjustments from time to time, and they got on my nerves a little bit. But of course, they had gone through a lot more wear and tear than these, so that might be the difference there. Overall, #1 for comfort. I'm gonna use the HD600 as a basis for my comparison because it helps me describe the sound better. But I'll say that 600s are a bit lighter, but these don't feel heavy. They're still light enough. It's not like an Odyssey where it feels like you have a bowling ball in your head. If you fall forward, you can, slam a hole through the ground. Both are very comfortable. I don't really prefer one over the other. But yeah, so let's get into the sound. The first thing I noticed with the sound of the Sundara is that the mid-range is more pushed back, more recessed between 1 and 2K. The 600s, they take a gradual decline in that area, whereas the Sundaras, it's less of a subtle roll-off. It's more, the roll-off is more significant. It feels more substantial. Treble seems to have a little bit of a slight bite, and there's a bit of a metallic flavor there. These are definitely snappier than the 400i. The 400i was pretty warm, I would say. These are still, I wouldn't call them warm. They are a little bit closer to the 600 in terms of livelier, snappier sounding, but still, in comparison to a 600, it's going to be more laid back for sure. The treble does have a tendency to become a little bit SE at times, but it's not a deal breaker by any means. The bass has a nice low rumble to it. It seems tight but not out of place or overbearing. And in comparison to the 600's bass, it was a little bit hard to discern a difference really. The 600s, even though they have more roll-off, they actually seemed a little bit more forward in your face than these. I would say the 600's bass has a little bit better texture and nuance to it, but it's very slight. It's a very slight difference. Overall, the 600 seems more enjoyable, a little bit livelier and snappier. Like I said, I got that term. I think Tile used that term in his 600 review, and it's very appropriate here. The 600s just, they have more of a excitement to them, whereas the Sundaras are a bit more laid back, and it really has a lot to do with that mid-range. That's like the number one takeaway from this review, if you don't take away anything else, is that the Sundaras they roll off in that 1 to 2K area a little bit harder, which can kind of render them a little flat at times, but again, I'm nitpicking. So sound A, definitely A, maybe A minus due to that little treble bite and the slightly recessed mids, but it is what it is. I'm struggling through this one, guys. When you do a review one time and then you try to record it again, it's like, bleh. But anyway, what about imaging? Imaging on both of these is very good. There's not a huge difference. I mean, the 600s definitely are more famous for having a narrower image. Both render details extremely accurate. You're gonna be able to pinpoint stuff that's going on. In my Utopia review, I likened it to like sprinkling garlic salt or garlic pepper or garlic powder, not pepper, garlic powder. It's sort of the same here, but not as apparent. The Utopias are a $4,000 set of headphones, so naturally they're going to be the most revealing you'll find out there, along with headphones like the LCD4 and stuff like that. So imaging is good, very good. Very good. Imaging, I give an A. What about amplification? Definitely mandatory for both the 600 and this guy. You're not going to get the full breadth of the sound through your phone or your standard mobile device because, number one, the Sundaras, like I said in the open, their sensitivity is very low. It's 94 decibels. I think the 400i was 93. Can't remember the 400s, but yeah, you're not going to be satisfied without an amp. I used the shit Magni Modi, the Audio Quest Dragonfly. I don't have an Audio Quest Dragonfly, but I've demoed it on several occasions. And the Oppo HA2, I have that as well. So those are amps I would recommend if you're starting out. Desktop, definitely shit Magni Modi. It'll do well with 99% of headphones because it provides a ton of power. And the Magni 3 provides, I think, 430 milliwatts. So that's like ridiculous. I think the Magni 2 provided in the 200 area. And the 600s, being at 300 ohms only require, think about 20 to 30. So just think about that for a second. Magni provides 400. I mean, but yeah, I'll leave links in the description below for what is sensitivity, what is headphone impedance, and how to choose a headphone amp. I go into much more detail there. Also, if you want to know how a planar magnetic headphone works, I will link the 400i video. I briefly discussed it there. So, how about genre pairing? I listen to hip-hop, indie, rock, metal, jazz, and classical mostly. I'd say that covers the majority of music that you're going to be listening to. I would say both of these headphones, the HD600 or 100 if you're white, and the 400i do well with pretty much all genres. If you're a bass head, you're coming to these, you're going to be it's going to be different than if you have a little bit more experience with more neutral, more balanced type of headphone. But for me, I think they do wonderful for anything with bass, indie pop, EDM, of course hip hop, R&B. I love them with rock, metal, jazz, and classical. So it's just pretty much the entire scope of what you'll be listening to. So yeah, what's the final grade for these? I would say A, bordering on A+, but A because of a couple of things in the sound. It's very nitpicky. Something like the LCD-X is probably in its most purest form what a headphone is supposed to sound like. Not too much bass roll-off, very balanced mid-range, and a little bit darker of a treble, sort of like an HD600. So, Sundara! It's like when, in that movie She's All That, where that kid goes up to Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character and asks him if he wants to play Sega. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Don't forget to like, dislike, comment, subscribe, hate, flame, give me constructive criticism, feedback, etc. I could really use your support in any way. Question of the day. Where did I get the sound for amplification from? The little graphic in the video. Let me know down below, and the first person to get the answer correct will receive my Audio-Technica ATH M50s. Still in perfect working condition after 5 years. All I'm asking is that you follow me on all the social networks, and I'll leave a link in the description below, and leave some love on any of my SoundCloud beats. Talk to you soon. With that, I'll see you next time.